Hello there everyone and welcome back to Tune Talk with Andy. In today's episode we will be discussing recordings by the British progressive rock band Porcupine Tree. This is, I would probably guess, one of our favourite bands, just in general. Can't really speak for our guest today, AGP. Yeah, your thoughts on Porcupine Tree? Are they among your top 10?
I don't think they're in my top 10 band. They're definitely in my top 20, I'd say.
Yeah, okay, that's still strong. I mean, you know a
Yeah,
lot of bands, so...
yeah. Like the first albums of the discography, like they just don't really hook me on. When like the couple of albums, like at least from Lightbulb Sun up until Gavin Harrison joined and everything after that, I really like that type of stuff a lot more than I do the older stuff. But it's a really good band.
Yeah, that's fair. The album we will be talking about today is Recordings, as I said. This was released in May of 2001, so this was before both of our times. But yeah, it is mainly a collection of B-sides and unreleased songs from the Stupid Dream and Lightbulb Sun album. It was initially a limited release, limited to only about 20,000 copies worldwide. It was, however, later reissued on CD in September of 2010, which definitely was a smart decision to do. Otherwise, these plates would just be insanely expensive because, I mean, oh god, they have some good songs. But yeah, the band itself consists of Stephen Wilson, Richard Barbieri, Colin Edwin, and Chris Maitland. Now, Stephen Wilson, he is actually a genius songwriter whom we've discussed before on the album The Raven That Refused to Sing. Fantastic album, by the way. Feel free to check that video out after this. But yeah, he's on the vocals, guitars, piano, and so much more. Richard Barbieri, he's on keyboard, synthesizers, and stuff like that. Colin Edwin is on the bass and double bass, and then Chris Maitland is on the drums and percussion, whatever that is. There is one additional musician, Theo Travis. He played the flute on some of the songs. Now, without further ado, let's get right into the album itself. To start things off, we have Buying New Soul. This song is actually quite a strong song to open the album with. It's quite good. It starts a bit iffy, but it progressively improves upon itself throughout. The lyricism is solid. I mean, it's Stephen Wilson, so he's absolutely brilliant with his lyricism in, specifically speaking. The instrumentals are quite cool, and the vocals are sweet as they usually are when he sings. The chorus is quite fun, but I feel like they could switch up the vocal runs at least a little bit more to keep me intrigued a bit more. But yeah, the opening is a bit of a letdown, but thankfully it improves upon itself, and it does drag a bit as well. I gave this an 8 out of 10. It's still a good song, I do like it, and I would definitely never skip this. Your thoughts?
I think we actually really agree on most songs, because I gave this an 8 out of 10 too.
Wow.
It's got a really mysterious intro. I really like the arrangement here. I love how they mix this track also. It's a really chill song, lovely bass and guitar. The drums are written very well, and they fit so well. Very tasty drumming. Chris Maitland is an excellent drummer, I have to say.
Yummy.
He's no Gavin Harrison, but he's a great drummer. Great harmonies in the chorus, I have to say. The little key or synth riff can be a bit obnoxious at times, but it's otherwise a good addition to the atmosphere. The song has a decent guitar solo, but it's a bit long. That's the thing. They could have cut this down maybe a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now from Buying New Soul, our access have indeed been denied. The next song is Access Denied. This song has a really fun intro, like very traditional, like, I don't know why, but like, might be because Anesthetize is one of the first songs I ever heard. But, I really think this has, really traditional Porcupine Tree vocals, like they add a bit of distortion on them. Which might just be because, Anesthetize, in the chorus, have distortion on the vocals or whatever. I don't really know the technical term for it. The pre-chorus is really weird and experimental. It builds tension in a creepy way. I really enjoy that. Some great vocal melodies too throughout the entire song. I really like the chorus. I gave this an 8.5 out of 10.
Now, you were just speaking about us having quite similar taste when it comes to songs. I gave this an 8.5 out of 10 as well. And I do agree that the opening is really fun. I wrote this as funky, actually. It's just downright intriguing. And the instrumentals as well, they're funky throughout. It's such a fun song just overall.
Yeah.
And the only real downside is the fact that it's a bit short, but then again, it does what it's supposed to do really well. I do think that the choice of mixing on the vocals and stuff is a bit interesting and takes a bit of time to fully understand and get used to, but I do think that this is definitely a song that instantly clicked with me, so it's a good song overall.
How much do you want to bet that the lyrics of this are the most depressing thing ever?
Considering it's Steven frickin' Wilson, I'm gonna guess that it's very melancholic.
Alright, let's see.
And it's called Access Denied. So I'm guessing either some heartbreak or being rejected, something like that.
Oh well, I probably can't even. Oh wait, that's a very funny. That's a very funny lyric. The fat controller man, he doesn't understand. He's my biggest fan.
Nice, love that. That's brilliant, Stephen. Love that. But yeah,
cheers, Jeff.
On to the next one. The next song on the album is a bit of a letdown for me personally. It's called A Cure for Autism. I mean, A Cure for Optimism. It has this eerie opening that I do quite like. And the vocals are sweet and all. The style is quite interesting and sticks out to me. But I feel like this is more of a grower than a shower. So it hasn't really clicked with me just yet. The song length is ideal. It's downright what I think Porcupine Tree should go for, at least with their quote-unquote filler songs. The lyrics are a bit boring. They don't really stick out to me, and the vocals kick in a bit too late for me personally. But I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Still an okay song. I won't skip it. It's just to kind of build on the album. It's not really something you'd put on outside of it. Your thoughts?
No, again, we have similar opinions. I gave this a 7 out of 10 though, so I enjoyed this a tiny bit more than you. It's got a really haunting intro, that's fucking scary as hell. But the intro is just a bit too long. It's too much of the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Could have cut that down. I love the keys and the synth throughout the song. I really like the mix too. Great vocals on this song. I like the lyrics. I'm not the biggest fan of the harmonies during the final chorus. It just feels like they decided to add that on just for no particular reason. It doesn't add to anything. It doesn't add to the experience of listening to the song. It just throws you off a bit more. Now, from Optimism, we go to Untitled. This song, I love this song. I gave the song a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
It has a haunting intro that seems to be a recurring theme on this album. The drums are good, same goes for the bass. Fantastic atmosphere, I have to say. Great guitar, I love that type of guitar playing / effect. An excellent mood, yeah, just a really good song. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's fair. Now you said the opening was quite haunting. I actually wrote it down as relaxing, so there might be something wrong with my brain. I was just fully relaxed when I listened to the opening, and the instrumentals are just so calming. It might be because this type of vibe just kind of gets me at ease, if that makes sense. I'm not quite sure how to put my words on it, but this has some proper progression throughout, and this song, it builds upon itself really well. I do think that the lack of vocals and lyrics is quite prominent, but I mean, it's still a great instrumental tune, so it's not one I'd put on outside of the album, but it's still really good, really is. Oh, now, from this interesting song to the biggest disappointment of all time, we've got Disappear. I only have one note for this song. Nothing distinctly wrong, just boring overall. I gave this a 5.5 out of 10. It's just insanely mediocre at best. Nothing about this song is appealing to me. Depending on the song length, I can't quite remember. If it's less than 5 minutes, I will allow it.
It's 3 minutes and 42 seconds, lad.
Okay, I won't skip it then if it's that short, but if this was 10 minutes, I would hate it, and I would even go as far as to go on Spotify and add every single song, with the exception of this song, and just put it on my own playlist and save that as the album, because this song is just distinctly average. It's just unappealing. Your thoughts?
Alright, so I think there is indeed something wrong with your brain, because I really like this song. That's just a joke, so don't cancel me, I guess. Good luck finding my account regardless. You know, you hated on, what is it called? I in the Lead. What? You know, these two, from Rosenroll. You hated on that song too.
I Lead, yeah.
Yeah, I gave this a 7.5. I like the phrasing on the acoustic guitar. I really like the arrangement. The vocals are great, good melodies, great bass, a great ending. I'm just such a sucker for these types of songs, man.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, from Disappear, from Disappear we go to Ambulance Chasing.
Love doing that.
Yeah, of course, I love that name too. I have to say, it's got a really cool intro. I like the drumming, the bass is great, really good atmosphere. I really love the synth too on this song. Great guitar work. That's good Porcupine Tree song. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree for the most part, but I gave this a 7.5 out of 10. The opening is quite intriguing, and it really just sets the mood quite right, in my opinion. And I've just got to say the name, as you said, it's an interesting name for a song. It's brilliant. It can be interpreted in so many ways. But yeah, the drums, nice use of those, really well done. The instrumentals overall are quite funky, and I feel like they really add a lot to the tune. And yeah, the progression throughout the instrumentals, they just progressively just improves upon itself, and I really like that, the way they kind of start from A, then transition into B, then skip C and end up on D, and still making it sound fantastic. And I'm not talking about notes or chords and stuff, it's just an analogy to show that they can skip from one place to another smoothly, if that makes sense. But yeah, I would like vocals to go alongside the instrumentals in a bit more of a fluid way, but that's the only downside. 7.5 out of 10 though, still a strong rating, definitely one I would listen to, unlike Disappear. I feel like that song should disappear, in fact. But yeah, on to the next one. In Formaldehyde. I feel like I've heard that song name like on 10 other albums. Yeah, regardless, it has a decent opening. I do think there's an interesting choice of instruments at play. The progression throughout is quite sweet. The lyrics are just okay. But the backing vocals and the ad-libs, they're just so poor and unappealing. It really drags the song down by at least one rating. So I gave this a 7 out of 10. It's still decent, but it's not one I would actively choose to listen to.
You know, this is easily the worst song on the album for me, you know.
Wow.
I'm not the biggest fan of the clean guitar riff. Not only just the tone, but how they mix that. Like, having it go constantly with little to no variation throughout most of the song, it just grinds my ears. I can't be arsed with that shit. The bass work is decent, the vocals are good. This song just mostly feels like a demo though, compared to all the other songs. And I mean, considering this is from the recording sessions of the two other albums, like Lightbulb Sun and, what's the other called? Stupid Dream.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense, but they had to go, like, this song just feels like being experimental and adding a shit ton of noises and synthesizers and all that type of shit into the song just for the sake of it and for no particular reason at all. The guitar solo though, it is decent. I think it could be phrased better. I'm not the biggest fan of the tone either. I like the lyrics though. I gave this a 6 out of 10. Now, on to easily the best song on the album. We have Even Less. Oh my god, I have so much shit to say on this song.
Go ahead.
Yeah, or just...
Autism, lads. Go on.
This song has a really good intro. It gives me Pink Floyd vibes with the guitar work until everything kicks in. The drumming is great. The lyrics are good. I interpret this as being someone who's depressed, couldn't save his friend, who was loved, and the depressed guy is thought to be cold by the guy who was loved, and the depressed guy doesn't understand why the loved guy is loved. Taken off genius.com. Thank you, lads. Cheers. Vocal melodies are good. The riffs are good. Guitar work is good too. Some great harmonies. The post-chorus sections are great. Fantastic instrumental break, though the solo isn't the best. Though that kind of feels intentional. Like, it feels like it was played like sloppily. Like slop-ish. That's an intentional choice, you know. I really love how it just abruptly goes back into a more mellow mood to bring back the vocals. The ending is fantastic. It's a top 3 Porcupine Tree song for me currently. A 9, but so close to a 9.5.
Yeah, that's fair. I gave this actually the exact same rating. It's a 9, but this does have the potential to reach a 9.5. So basically the exact same as you said. But yeah, it has this really nice opening with nice vocals, and the way they wrote the vocal runs, I'm absolutely fascinated by it. It's really good. just really nice. The instrumentals themselves, they're written really well as well. The thing you said about the solo being played a bit sloppy, I feel like that really adds to the songwriting itself, and it really just works well, especially with the lyricism and the way the entire thing is just written and produced. It's really damn good. It has this brilliant progression throughout, and the vocals, they just lay on top of the instrumentals so damn well. I really like it. It has great switch-ups throughout. There is only one thing I would change, and there's just something around the halfway mark that I feel is a bit off. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's just, I don't know. Maybe they should cut that down just a tiny bit, or if they should mix it a bit better. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, other than that, it's a really damn good song, and it's definitely in my top 5 Porcupine Tree songs, I'd say. Maybe even top 3. But yeah, definitely top 5. It's really good. Even less, definitely check that out. Oh, from a 9 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10, which is Oceans Have No Memory. I don't really have many notes on this, and that's because it's just overall quite nice. I really like the instrumentals, they're sweet, and it's definitely one song I would fall asleep to. And that's not in a bad way, that's in a really good way. It's really soothing and just gets you in the mood to just relax. So I feel like that's a beautiful way to end the album, by just having it kind of fade out with this calming tune. I feel like this album tucks you good night quite well, if I can put it that way. But yeah, I feel like this song could also benefit from the addition of the flute. If they could have added that, I feel like that would have boosted it up to a 9. But yeah, 8 out of 10, still quite strong. It's a vibe song for sure. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
I love this song, man. This has, like, even less, this is kind of like how I approach, how I really rank music and stuff. Like, even less is just, for me, so much objectively better than Oceans Have No Memory. But I will 9 out of 10 times listen to Oceans Have No Memory over even less. That's kind of like how my brain works. Like, Octavarium by Dream Theater is my favorite song of all time, but I never put that shit on almost. Might just be, most of my favorite songs are just really long. And most of the time I'm really in a more of a mellow mood. And I always just want to listen to this type of music most of the times. This song has a really great intro with chilling. Chilling is the best word to describe this. Not really, but that's just how I describe that. Very relaxing. I really like the arrangement. This is a mood and atmosphere I love. The guitar work is just excellent. This is a fantastic ending to the album. It kind of like with It All Sounded Out, with Ein Lied. It really lets you look back on the journey you've been on, and just, as you said, fade out.
Yeah.
So I give it an 8.5, but this is arguably the song I've listened to the most from this album, actually.
Fair. Now, if you add all of these nice songs together, what did you get as your overall score?
7.94444444.
I get it. Okay.
But I'm gonna round that up to an 8.
Well, I added all of mine together, divided it by the number of songs, and I got a 7.5. And I think that's actually the right rating for me, personally. It's a really good album. Could improve in certain spots, but I definitely will be listening to songs like Access Denied, Even Less, and Oceans Have No Memory outside of the album. But yeah, I don't really have many notes other than the fact that this by Porcupine Tree is definitely one of their stronger albums, at least from this era. I will be ranking another album by them on my own later, which is called Signify, and I do not have similar opinions at all about that album, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, do you have any closing remarks for the album?
Yeah, I really love the mixing. Porcupine Tree, just like, it's Steven Wilson. You're gonna get a good mix. You're gonna get good production. That's just how it works. That's like the, what's it called? The 5 essential. Those are the 5 rules of the universe, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, water is wet, and Steven Wilson is a great songwriter.
Yeah,
and
that
mixer,
type of stuff.
and producer. And
yeah, the production is great, as usual with Steven Wilson stuff. I'm not going to pretend I know the most about production stuff, but the bass tone, I think it's good, but I usually prefer something different. It just at times feels a bit hollow, I'd say. It's still a good bass tone though. It works well. But you know, I prefer something else. That might just be the double bass or something. I don't know actually. I like the inclusion of cello on certain songs. The drumming is really good. You know, I actually didn't rate Chris Maitland the most because I'm a Gavin Harrison lover.
Yeah,
But then I listened to Lightbulb's Son in this album and like, holy shit, he's a great drummer.
he is.
Yeah, fantastic synth and keys, I have to say. Harmonies, they can just... This is one thing I'm gonna complain about when it comes to Porcupine Tree. Either it's so perfect, or it's pretentious, or just not fitting at times. And most of the times on this album, it's pretentious and not fitting.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is a consistently great album. The bass work is fantastic. I really love Collins, I think that's his name. Yeah, Colin Edwin, he's a really good bassist. I'm not the biggest fan of the guitar solos, though, I have to say.
They're a bit weak.
Yeah. Now, I have to say, one thing I noticed is that Riverside's early work, you know, the Out of Myself and Second Life Syndrome, they are so clearly inspired by this. The atmospheres, the tones,
Yeah.
etc., they share such a resemblance. Though I believe Riverside improved on it significantly. This is one of Porcupine Tree's most consistent albums, and it's currently my top 3 Porcupine Tree albums. That's all I have to say about this album.
Thank you all so much for dropping by, we greatly appreciate this. I'm not sure which album I will be posting next, but it will definitely be a solo one, aka just me sat here and talking to you guys. But yeah, thank you all so much for dropping by, we greatly appreciate it. Feel free to drop a like or even subscribe, and feel free to recommend some albums for us to go through. Now, have a good one, and goodbye.